New at 5:30, a big problem continues in Shasta County. The sheriff can't get enough people to work at the jail, so inmates are often booked and released.
So I went out to the jail to find out what the sheriff is planning to do about it.
Think about going to work every day and being locked up for 12 hours of your work day with all these people, and that's your day, and then you go home to your family. It's emotionally trying.
We have
Correctional deputies have a tough job, and Shasta County just can't get enough people to do it.
We were taking people that have young families and lives and saying, sorry, you're going to work mandatory overtime 6 days a week this week. Sorry about your kid's soccer game. We were burning everybody out.
That's why Sheriff Michael Johnson shut down an entire floor of his jail back in July of 2022.
Let out of jail a good amount of up to about 160 people.
Since then,
we've hired 45 people to work in here, 45 people over that 15 months, and we've lost 48.
The jail should have 70 employees, with 55 correctional deputies. They're down 17 of those deputies now. Sheriff Johnson says he's tried everything.
Signing bonuses, hiring incentives, pay increases, everything across the board, what we could do. And it just hasn't been enough. It's more like a mini prison now. We have very high level, sophisticated, aggressive criminals in here. That we have prison politics going on inside here. It's just a nasty environment.
What keeps you coming back every day?
I've been doing this for 20 years. This is one of the positions I've been put in charge of. And of course, I want it to be the best possible for not only the community, but for our agency as well.
It's been 14 months, you've pitched ideas, we're down 3 people since 14 months ago when this all changed. So what comes next?
Well, what comes next is we've put forth numerous plans to the Board of Supervisors, and it really comes down to what the county can afford to support us on, right?
Johnson tells me the short-term fix to borrow officers from city police departments is off the table. But he still wants to add 5 new sworn deputy sheriffs to run jail operations and transport. And overall, he'd get rid of 9 vacant correctional positions and add 9 total sworn deputy sheriffs.
We've got a new plan. We've been trying to stave off having to pull deputies off the street to bring them in here and run the jail. Because you're just going to trade one problem for another.
But he says that will have to happen if he doesn't get the extra $900,000 a year he says he needs to run the jail. It all comes down to money, and the sheriff and one business owner I spoke to both agree that the cost of crime in the community is more expensive than the cost of additional deputy salaries.
We're all getting our property destroyed. We're all working our butts off. It's a lot harder to run a business nowadays than it ever has. I've been doing this for 29 years in the restaurant industry.
Miller is spending his own money on private security. Have you had incidents happen when your staff's here?
Absolutely. My cameras, which are on the building, go off about 60 times a night. One of my other signs is missing. I had 2 of them on each side. That was stolen. I had a shade tarp out here stolen. They break my water main all the time, use the water, broke my windows 3 times in the first year I was here.
Do you think, though, that having criminals out in the community, people suffer, the taxpayers suffer as well from that?
Way more than they would if we invest on the correctional system. Absolutely, I think that. Because the toll that they take on everybody, on businesses, on retail theft, on vandalism, on breaking windows, on cutting fences, and all those things that happen, it's, the cost of living and cost of materials these days is astronomical.
Miller says he believes a lot of his problem comes from here, a growing encampment underneath the Cypress Avenue Bridge.
The cops are trying to make a change. They have no problem arresting them, but when they're arresting them, going to pick them back up 2 hours later, how?
For the community's sake, we have to get this jail open, and that's really just the bottom line.
At the August meeting, supervisors directed staff to place the sheriff's proposal on a future agenda.
So we just heard that, and thank you for that story. It's very interesting information. But the sheriff says the bottom line is to get it open. What's the bare minimum to make that happen?
Yeah, so basically they need 12 total positions, and only 7 of them would have to be sworn deputies.
To get that
floor
back open.
Yeah,
right.
we'll see.